clean. Find them online at airserve.com/Springfield.
The views expressed on this show are those of the host, guest, and callers, and not those of radio station KICK, Vision Communications Incorporated, its management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program.
Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Okay, we are here to talk about all kinds of things because everything is related to your health. And of course, it will include supplements, a very big part of today's show. And the place that I go, and you should too, is Spring Valley Natural Foods. It's my favorite place to shop because they serve you. They meet you at the door, and you don't have to go shopping through 5,000 things to find what you want. They carry, of course, all of our goodies that we'll be mentioning here on the program and all of our bliss oils and everything else. But more importantly, they carry what you need and they help you find it at Spring Valley Natural Foods, the health food store where I shop, and you should too. And of course, then there's my favorite food supplement, Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. 2 tablespoons is equal to 3.75 servings of the best fruits and vegetables in the world. Where else can you get that in 2 tablespoons? And it tastes good. It lowers your cholesterol. It lowers your blood pressure. It's anti-inflammatory. And it's good for your body. In the produce department at Real Grocery Store, Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate. And, of course, now we're going to talk about one of the most common diseases. 40% of Americans have hypertension, a leading cause of heart disease and stroke and all kinds of other problems.
And that is one of the areas where I see the greatest failure from the emergency room medicine
standards, but I mean, the standards are substandard. Let's talk about why.
Well, in my opinion, this is almost as bad and serious as chemotherapy.
Indeed.
The success rate of medical treatment with drugs, taking 3 antihypertensive drugs, the success rate is a whopping 45%, with about a 99% complication rate of chronic fatigue, loss of energy, and if you're a male, erectile dysfunction. In other words, hypertensive drugs suck. That's being kind because we are on the radio. I can't tell you what I really think.
Well, you probably could, and I would appreciate that. It's that I'm at a point in time, but the radio-wise. Speaking of, I just want to tell you, it is almost expected that if somebody is 35 years or more, maybe like now it speaks 30s, it's expected that they have blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. It's if you don't see it, it's just, hey, there's what is wrong here in this picture? But what is wrong here is that the society has gotten to the place where this has become acceptable to have the blood pressure out of control.
Yes, and it can be brought under control with the holistic approach, the comprehensive holistic approach. This is one of our most successful things. We started out with pain and depression and anxiety, and there we're good. We can help you 90+% of the time. But if you've got hypertension, we can control your blood pressure safely, get you off the drugs at least 99+% of the time.
Now that's a whole lot better than conventional.
Oh, it's over twice as good because there are no complications.
Yep. So we are exceeding in terms of success, and we don't have any of the issues related to the side effects or the danger of the drugs. So
exactly.
So let's actually walk the audience or the folks through what is a concept of a holistic approach to treating, assessing, treating, and resolving hypertension.
Well, it's like everything is body, mind, emotions, and spirit.
Precisely.
And of course, we start with something that reduces stress, autogenic training.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, autogenic training has been documented in 28,000 scientific publications to be the single best studied self-regulation, self-control system ever invented. Now, it does take you a little bit of time to train your brain. If you're willing to put in 18 minutes twice a day for 3 months. After that, you can get by with a minute or two a day for the rest of your life.
And you don't even need the exercise. So what I say about autogenic training to clients is you want to make sure that you own this tool. You don't have to listen to it. You can if you want to. It's wonderful. But what you want to have is you want to have the capacity to have it as subconscious pattern of that you can literally go into a place of relaxation and get that blood pressure down. I had a client today. This is not the first or the last person, but they literally came in with 220 over 120, and with autogenic training, down by 40 points from systolic, and down by about 30 points on diastolic. And this is a short version of autogenic training, by the way.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say again, in 4 minutes of us guiding them in the initial phase, it will work in almost everybody.
Exactly. But that means that it's a proactive self-regulation approach, something that it's not a pill. I mean, you can use it to help temporarily, but the concept is this is something that you want to own because stress is part of everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, I came in today. I swear the woman's hands were almost frostbitten.
Oh God, no, that's severe stress. Yeah.
And I mean, felt her hand, and I almost shocked. It was so cold.
Yeah.
But that's the stress reaction, and a little bit of autogenic training can warm it up right away.
Exactly. Now there is the rest of the from going from autogenic training to biogenics. There's actually an even better way of getting to self-regulation and the management of the central and autonomic nervous system.
Oh yes, absolutely. Now, for people with hypertension, all adults need this to some extent, but especially for those with hypertension, you need the Shealy-Sorin essentials. That's why we call it essentials. And you need at least 2 of those a day. If you weigh over 175 pounds, maybe 4 a day, but that's safe as can be.
Mm-hmm.
You need the Shealy-Sorin Youth Formula. Again, you need 4 a day of those. And you need a little bit of taurine. Taurine is my favorite amino acid, actually, because 80% of the patients we measured were deficient in it.
Yeah.
And although you can eat it, if you eat a lot of clams and other seafood, you can take it. And for people with hypertension, generally we give 2,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Totally safe, excellent for your body and your mind, and it just is, well, worth doing.
Actually, taurine, in addition to the essentials in youth, has resulted in better relaxation effect than.
But it's even good.
Almost.
It's even good in epilepsy.
Yes.
That's how good it is for quieting down the nervous system.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I've used it even in a 2-year-old who has uncontrolled epilepsy.
Gotcha.
That's how safe taurine is.
It's a beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing about holistic medicine is that everything we're talking about
is safe.
If there was a chance of side effects or anything to do with the conventional system that's acceptable, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
In addition to autogenic training, biogenic self-regulation, let's talk about the PEMF.
And of course,
which is
as an electrical supplement, so to speak.
Yes.
The Shealy-Sorin gamma PEMF device, pulsed electromagnetic frequency, does this for lowering blood pressure. And I've taken blood pressure from 200 over 110 down to normal within 20 minutes using the PEMF device. Exquisitely safe. You can put it on your chest, you can put it on your head. It just regulates the body's nervous system.
And I'd like to, and we actually had the whole segment last week on PEMF, all the wonders. It's literally a cellular support.
Exactly.
For everything. And I want to actually read this out loud because this is actually very important. This is from our technical team. So the PEMF sale that has been going on, the price has been lowered by $200 from, and it's already a discount from before. So this is, we're going to continue this discount until the end of Friday.
Friday at midnight. So
midnight.
We've got over 2.5 days yet to go.
And this is the best price we've offered yet on this on this amazing device. So if you want to take advantage of that, that would be wonderful. And I do want to say the supplements that we talk about can be found directly on our website,
Yes.
realholisticdoc.com. RealHolisticDoc.com. Okay. Real Holistic Doc. And I just want to say that we want to keep the information and the holistic approach free of charge, just the general concept, just the flow of, so that so you got the tools, you got the resources. And when you support us through our website, through however you can support us, and whether it's supplements or otherwise, we are honored to be able to continue to bring you free information, and that can change your life for the better.
And if you wish to be weaned from those dangerous medicines that are not working,
yes,
then we do suggest you have a consult with us to tell you how to do it.
Indeed.
You can't stop them suddenly without having a stroke necessarily.
Exactly. Now, there's a time for acute care, and if something's happening acutely, it's time to go to emergency room. That's where I work part of the time. But when it gets to a chronic, anything, I call it more than 6 weeks. Technically, it's
technically it should have called 6 months. But
6
I think
months.
3 months especially.
3 months is enough.
It is chronic by 3 months in my
exactly. And if it's not working, the concept of Einstein has a really good quote, definition of insanity. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, guess what? Reconsider. Literally. So that's that. But there is also the baseline, the background. And when we talk about a holistic approach, it's mind, body, spirit, and we actually haven't talked about one very important factor: lifestyle. And why that is important, because the doctors in conventional medicine don't have time to sit and talk about this. They literally don't have time, even if they want to.
Well, that's true. And of course, that's why we have a focus visit, which is a half hour, or a full visit, which is a whole hour.
Up to an hour, that's right. Yeah.
And we sit and talk, and you can ask all the questions. I mean, actually, I would say half of what we do in that hour is good counseling.
Exactly. But the thing about the counseling is it has to be personalized.
Of course.
And that's what it's all about. And so let's talk about the general factors, because now everyone has a different strength and weaknesses when it comes to certain things. But what are the things that are essential in the lifestyle without even buying anything for the blood pressure? And then let's start with
at the top of the list, of course, is a body mass index of 18 to 24.
That's right.
Every point above 24 increases your risk of heart attack, diabetes, death, cancer. It's toxic to your health. So if your body mass index is above 24.5 at the most, you need to do something about it. And that is, you need to stop eating all potatoes, except sweet potatoes, all Irish potatoes, all white rice, which is pure junk, all sugar, and all wheat.
Yes.
And, of course, you need to not smoke. 22% of adults still smoke. If you want to raise your blood pressure, take a good deep puff.
Yeah, exactly.
And kill your lungs at the same time.
Yep, lots of other bad things, yeah.
And you need to eat, ideally, 8 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, a minimum of 5.
Yeah.
The average American gets 2.2. And if you're not going to eat it, then get your Nature Blessed Tart Cherry Juice Concentrate and ORAC, ORAC rich greens. 1 scoop of that gives you equivalency of 6 servings of fruits and vegetables a day.
And we actually still carry that on the website, realholisticdoc.com. Yeah. Now, let's talk about activity and exercise, because that's a huge one there.
Yes. Exercising 30 minutes, 5 days a week is as essential as breathing. And if you're not going to do that, well, you're going to be ill. You're going to have all kinds of illness. And all you got to do really is move your arms. You can wave your arms around in a circle like this, standing preferably. But music conductors live longer than any other profession. And part of that is because they're not exercising, they're training the orchestra, so to speak. But there are all kinds of exercise. I mean, I do 2 hours every morning.
And you're how old again?
88. But it's I like to move. It gives me energy.
But it does so many things too. It's just such a wonderful thing for your system.
Well, it lowers your blood sugar, it lowers your blood pressure, And it was shown in 1980 that 30 minutes of moderate exercise is far better for anxiety than Valium,
Yes.
another poison drug.
And by the way, let's talk about the blood pressure and other comorbidities, because if you talk about the blood pressure out of control, stress, anxiety, depression, those are also highly related.
Oh,
And
tremendously related.
anytime, I'm just going to say, anytime I see a person with hypertension, I have to wonder, what is their cholesterol doing? What is their sugar doing? Because that usually goes in a bundle.
Absolutely.
And it usually goes with a lifestyle bundle too, doesn't
And
it?
I want to mention another of my least favorite of all drugs
Please.
is a statin drug. I'd bite your hand off if you tried to put one in my mouth.
You know what? I got a suggestion. Let's dedicate another show, maybe next time, to cholesterol. How's that?
Absolutely, because it's
Let's do
so
that.
critically important.
Yeah, and
And we can control hypertension and cholesterol with nutrition and other factors. I can bring your cholesterol down to normal safely without a drug, a supplement.
so I just like to kind of come around the whole concept of, so what is a holistic treatment of hypertension? And let's contrast what you get in a conventional doctor's office as opposed to what you get in a holistic office. So I can start with conventional because that's
You get 7 minutes, first
you get
of all.
well, so
5 to 7.
5 to 7. You're giving a little too much time there. 5 to 7 minutes during which the doctor has to write a couple of scripts, which takes a few minutes right there. And then you got to take notes, document the chart. So basically, how much of that is really patient interaction and being able to listen to the person? I would say not much.
Well, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Body, mind, and spirit. And of course, your belief system in general.
Yeah.
In the current stupidemic, for instance,
Mhm.
you need to learn to detach. And that, of course, is autogenic training.
And I've seen more blood pressure rises, elevations with the stress response, cortisol going up. If you measure the cortisol basically on folks lately, the cortisol's through the roof. But that's not the only thing that's gone wrong.
No.
There's a lot of stuff here that's basically engineered in a way that's not good for us humans.
Beta blockers
Mhm.
block your life energy.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, let's just kind of bring it around. If you want to look at the holistic roots up approach for the hypertension, and this is where the individual come in. That's why we love to do consultations. But the general concept is, if you don't have the lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, activity, weight, body mass index, stress, if you don't have those, that's the foundation.
And let us not forget sleep.
Oh, and sleep. Oh, yes.
If you're not
yes.
sleeping 7 or 8 hours every night, that can give you hypertension.
Plus, it's dangerous to your health, especially if you're
Oh.
driving.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Again, absolutely critical. People who sleep 6 hours or less have more automobile accidents than all the drug and alcohol people in the world.
I'm raising my hand. Yeah. So, basically, that's that. And then, of course, it's a question of putting the supplements into the system. And I hear from some folks, and I want to emphasize this point. Why do I need to take supplements? Because, to some folks, pills are pills. But there's a difference. There's a distinction, because if you take a hypertensive medication, I'm just going to say this way, if you don't have it, if you leave it at home or if you travel, your blood pressure is going to go through the roof. You got no other. You're out of crutches basically. What do? But if you take supplements to control things and make it better, let's say you run out for a day or two, that's fine. You just take it whenever you get a chance next time.
And of course,
Non-addicting, non-dependent. That's
but the reason everybody needs supplements today is thanks to Monsanto.
Yeah.
The rain, 75% of the rain has Roundup in it.
Poison.
One of the greatest poison ever invented in the history of the human race.
Uh-huh.
And so there's no such thing as organic.
Nope.
I wouldn't pay you 2 cents, 1 cent different for something called organic, because it ain't. You can't call it organic, in my opinion, if it had rain on it.
I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm not going to go into this more, but from yesterday's show, if you happen to catch that, the farmers market in Springfield with the masks and all that stuff, let's just put it this way: there's better places to go if you have an interest in health and wellness and peace of mind. But I'm done with that right now. Okay, so moving on. PEMF, electromagnetic and self-regulation with autogenic training and biogenics, and you got to stay on top of this. You can't just start something and then stop. You've got to. It has got to become a lifestyle.
Well,
That's-
but the interesting is, after practicing autogenic training twice a day for 3 months, you only need a minute or two a day, and it's automatic.
And what I teach people is even a one breath technique. Just, for example, you identify or some, let's say one of the 6 statements, for example, my heartbeat is calm and regular. Let's say you can relate to that. I'm there.
Or my breathing is free,
and
easy, and you're there.
Or my mind is quiet and still.
And you're there.
And you're there. That's right.
All of these statements become automatic, and they're the greatest help you can possibly give to yourself. It really ought to be taught in kindergarten.
Well, then there wouldn't be much hypertension and other things in the world today, you know? I mean, that's the concept of the holistic approach. It's literally mind, body, and spirit. And it's not pills, it's not drugs, it's not medications, but it's rather, do you have control? Do you have the freedom to be okay, no matter what, whatever the world brings to you? And the world is going to bring us a lot more than what we have coming so far. So we better, if you want to get ready, and if you have hypertension, I can guarantee you there's other metabolic disorders, dysfunctions that are either in the process or already there, including cholesterol, diabetes, and
everything in the immune system, actually. Even
yes,
cancer,
yeah, exactly.
Because stress also causes cancer.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. And speaking of cancer, that's got to be another segment that we got to talk about at some point. But so the bottom line is, folks, is you either approach it from the root cause of approach, holistic approach, mind, body, spirit, and get to the bottom of what's happening, or you're going to be a slave to the system.
And of course, I want to mention the great Gregorian chant that I discovered this week.
Ah, yeah.
482, a Gregorian chant. It is the most magnificent spiritual healing music I've ever heard. And it is also calming to the entire system. It should be played in the background everywhere, all the time. Everything you do, think, and say is related to your health. And what you want to do is say, and believe only positive things.
Exactly. Every day, in every way, I am getting better and better. Because the other ways is every day in every way, I'm getting worse and worse. I don't think I like that.
Well, I wouldn't recommend saying it too often.
Not exactly.
Other than as a joke.
As a joke. And if it feels right to you, then, well, folks, there's some work to be done.
Enjoy it.
But I do want to mention just one more time that as we kind of get to the initial half hour of discussion, and then we'll open up the lines for the conversation and the questions and open line, anything goes. So there is an extended sale on the PEMF, $200 off.
Through Friday midnight.
Friday midnight to an unprecedented lowest price ever, which is $1,400 for the device that basically does so much. And of course, if you go to the website and support us as far as our supplements, I mean, you get high quality product, but you're also allowing us to continue bringing you the free content and just basically the freedom of thought and speech and conversation. And that to me is priceless. Any other closing thoughts before we?
Also remember, every thought is a prayer also.
Yes.
And thinking sets in motion spiritual forces to bring about change in body, mind, emotion, companions, hopes, and despair.
Yes.
You train your brain, your mind, your spirit to be what you wish it to be. And you are in control. We teach you that. You can train yourself to do it. And that is the ultimate holistic approach. Be your own coach.
Now, do we have anybody on the comments or questions?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we have someone asking, they say, my question is my D3 level is already at 75.
Mm-hmm.
To combat depression and anxiety and blood pressure, what is the dose I should take?
Vitamin D, 50,000 units weekly minimum. Based on the weight, if over 130, is it 100?
Over 140 or above.
Okay, I use 135 to 140, but that's about that. So over that, over 135 to 140 pounds once a week. Otherwise, it's once every 10 days or 3 times a month. D3, 50,000 units. And that's essential because that's a hormone in itself. That's very important. Next question, please.
All right. What role does a non-optimized thyroid play in hypertension?
Oh, that's huge.
Well, of course, an overactive thyroid can cause hypertension. In underactive thyroid, it is part of a general stress reaction. It can be high or low, depending on how you respond. And I want to mention, by the way, a majority of people who've been put on levothyroxine do not like it.
That fails to me, it works only about 40% of the
Yes.
time.
Whereas Armour's thyroid works almost 100% of the time.
And it's interesting how conventional docs refuse to do Armour thyroid.
I know. My dear mother had her thyroid taken out in 1955. She lived to be through 2009, 97 years of age, and she was on Armour's thyroid all that time. Safely and effectively controlled hypertension. So any physician who won't give you levothyroxine, call us. 417-351-5221. We'll get you an Armour's thyroid.
Exactly. And Rob, continue, please, if there's anything else.
All right. And this was kind of part of that same question, but how about vagus nerve?
Stimulation? Well, vagus nerve stimulation does work, but I personally would reserve that only if you somehow couldn't do it with these simpler ways.
It's a lot more complicated to get the same effect.
And it has more complication than any of the stuff we've talked about.
By the way, the autogenic training, my arms and legs are heavy and warm. You're literally training the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic, parasympathetic. So you're balancing the whole thing non-invasively. That's just a beautiful thing. Thank you. Any...
Yeah, so actually the lady that was asking about the D3, she said, according to her primary care doctor, her D3 level's at the top of normal and that she should stop taking it weekly if she's already taking it.
Now, do you want to say something in your own words? Because I think I will say something that's norm-like. Should I say it out loud? I'm just gonna do it. BS. Complete BS.
It is totally
stupidity.
Safe. Yeah. It is totally safe to have a D level of 153 instead of 50, which is the minimum to be healthy.
And the RDA bounds of most things, including vitamin D, my God, that's just that's I don't have the words for that. It's just terrible. But that's okay. When you go to conventional medicine, who are trained and indoctrinated, and I was at some point too.
By the pharmacomafia.
By the pharmacomafia, because medical school education is nothing more than pharmacomafia education. It's indoctrination. I'm going to say it that way.
Brainwashing.
And we came out of the box. We came out of the, towards the truth, but a lot of people are blind. Ignorance is ignoring the facts. It's not knowing the facts. It's ignoring the facts. Please. Any others?
And then the last question I had here was, what do you think of biomeridian scans?
Biomeridian scans. I've seen some interesting outcomes. It depends on the operator, depends on the equipment. Some can be real good. But again, it's you have to see what's happening in your body. If it's working for you, that's fine. If you're working with a practitioner or a device that you're getting good results, that is fantastic. But if you're not, again, just because there's a device out there doesn't mean that it works for every single individual.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have somebody, we're about to go back in, but we have somebody asking about using the oils. How to do the transcutaneous acupuncture with it. Well,
the only one that is good for hypertension is actually the ring of water, or water bliss. And that can help regulate aldosterone, which is very much related to blood pressure.
But there's also on the website, realholisticdoc.com, illustrations of how to apply it, 12 points.
Exactly.
Real easy. Just tap it
Wednesday
and then go.
Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
And now is your turn, 417-447-1777. You can ask a question about anything because it's all related to your health.
And were there any leftover comments or questions until we get a call?
I believe that's all we have for right now.
Okay. Now is the time to give us the call. I can't see the board.
Actually, we just had somebody ask, is there a difference between autogenic training and biogenics?
Biogenics is the broad field of 68 different exercises. Autogenic training was the first of the 68.
it's like the spearhead, so to speak. It's the first and foremost one to get under your belt, and then as you get, it's almost like you learn the basics, and then you want to get further.
Yes.
But it's a wonderful system. Self-regulations, retraining of the central and autonomic nervous system. It's the most wonderful thing anyone can do, in my opinion.
And there's the Biogenics course where you can get all of the exercises.
And I don't know of any disease that does not respond to self-regulation. Literally.
No, everything from hypertension to epilepsy.
To epilepsy and mental health and otherwise. Yeah, you bet. Well, I guess we'll just keep on talking in the meantime.
Yeah, 417-447-1777. Right now, open line Wednesday.
So for the folks...
that reminds me.
Yeah.
I don't drink one of these every week, but today I was thirsty. And, one of the things that's essential for maintaining your blood pressure is adequate hydration.
Yes.
Being dehydrated can actually raise your blood pressure. And I would rather die than drink city water. City water is poisoned with fluoride. It can kill your thyroid gland. It can make you infertile and all kinds of other problems. It lowers your IQ. I mean, I consider, there's a book actually written, Fluoridation is Public Murder, and I agree with that. So be sure that you're going to get adequate water. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi. My question is, how does Dr. Shealy feel about the forced vaccinations on our children?
Oh, yeah.
I feel my statement is to get that stupid vaccination into this body, you have to shoot me with a gun. I'm totally opposed to it. I consider it next thing to murder.
And actually, the only thing I'm going to say is just think of Nuremberg's trials. Same concept.
Exactly.
Same concept. Now there's a resource. I'm gonna refer you to something. It's called American Frontline Doctors, AFLDS. They have legal advice and resources. They have medical advice and resources. They have white papers. They have science related to everything stupidemic. And you can actually have an arsenal to use when somebody asks you a stupid question or says something that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because here in Michigan, where I live, they are trying to force it on our children who are in college sports. And also they're saying you can't attend university in the fall unless you have the shot.
That is illegal, and that
bullshit.
that is immoral. That's not constitutional. You can't do that. They cannot do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks. Great question. Thanks for calling.
Oh.
And now is your turn, 417-447-1777, to ask anything, because it doesn't have to be related to hypertension or vaccination or anything else, because everything affects your health. Everything you think, say, do, breathe.
Life in general, really. And I do want to mention something, just a general statement, that if there's ever a business or an entity or an enterprise that is enforcing something that is illegal or immoral or something that they have no right to enforce, we have a right not to spend our resources and money there. And if they're a business, depending on the money, on our money and the consumers, well, guess what? They're not getting mine. Let's put it that way. I'm just going to stop right there. That's part of my, I guess, message for the folks out there if you're interested in taking action.
Again, you can find all kinds of information on our website, realholisticdoc.com, RealHolisticDoc.com.
I just want, this is interesting. We touched on this briefly, but the hypertension and blood pressure is rarely found by itself in the body.
Of course.
Rarely.
Yes, almost always. But the other thing that is missed more often than not, prediabetes and diabetic neuropathy.
Perfect.
The average physician doesn't do a hemoglobin A1C. I don't care what your fasting blood sugar is. That to me is absolutely useless. Fasting blood sugar, as any other time of day, blood sugar is all over the place. The hemoglobin A1C gives you an average of your blood sugar over the last 3 months. That test is essential to diagnose early or pre so-called diabetes, because prediabetes is really early diabetes.
Well,
in my opinion.
If anybody's going to use, I refuse to hear the word prediabetes. I just refuse. It doesn't exist for me. It's like saying I'm a little bit pregnant. I mean, or something like that. It's just that doesn't work. You either are or you're not.
And so period. It's early diabetes versus advanced diabetes.
But if it's early, you can do something about it.
Well, even once it gets up to regular diabetes, you don't need metformin. It's a stupid drug in itself. There are half a dozen herbs that will control your blood sugar much better and safer than
two radio episodes ago, we actually covered diabetes as a topic. And so we talked about all sorts of things. But again, the same concept as hypertension, lifestyle. You've got, nutrition, body mass index, weight, exercise activity, stress, sleep. These are essentials. And then you've got supplements, certain things that are missing in the foods and missing in the environment. And number 3, you've got, autogenic training, for self-regulation, balancing the autonomic nervous system. And there's a lot more to it than that. But of course, there's monitoring. There is all sorts of safe ways to get off drugs if somebody is interested in getting off drugs or medications that you frequently have more side effects than any good that they do in general. Chronic disease in general, and we'll cover different chronic diseases as we go along, but chronic disease does not have to be, folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Autogenic training and supplements and many, many other. And of course, my favorite electrical gadget in the last 60 years, the PEMF device.
Yeah, precisely.
A quadrillion times better than any drug in the world.
And it's still on sale until Friday, so $200 off. So this is a really good time to take advantage of that.
Anxiety, depression, hypertension,
addiction,
lung disease with chronic lung disease, all of these things better treated with a PEMF than any other thing that I know.
Exactly.
It's better than all the psychiatrists in the world, all the psychologists in the world. Much better treated with a PEMF device.
What was that? Remember, there is when you were going through medical school and psychiatry. I already know the story, but you want to share that a little bit?
Well, we had an exam, and they asked us to list 5 characteristics of a good psychiatrist. I wrote crazy as hell 5 times. I was called in by the Politburo. They threatened to funk me, and I said, "Would you like me in this class again next year?" They didn't dare flunk me because they knew that I would be smarter than they were.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't changed my mind. I consider 99% of psychiatrists crazier than any patient I've ever seen.
Well, that's what happens when you dissociate mind, body, and feelings and emotions, and you dissect it literally.
All the mood drugs, the antidepressant drugs, the anti-anxiety drugs are just extremely unsafe. We just saw a young lady who was made critically ill by 1 dose of an antidepressant drug. Yeah. 1 dose. She went stark crazy, almost crazy, but, she can recover eventually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the important thing is don't take any drug, in my opinion, unless you have at least evaluated the possibility of a holistic cure.
And if somebody is interested in getting off the drugs safely, and then thing is, you can't just stop some of them off the top,
no,
because it's not safe. But if your physician is not comfortable or willing to get you off of those medications,
then call us 417-351-5221. That's what we do every day. Is help people wean safely from junk drugs.
But it's more than that. I realized the value. It's not just getting off drugs and getting healthier. It's getting the tools for the rest of your life to enjoy life.
Well, yes. Today, I spent some time talking with someone who didn't like the fact that she was aging. I said, fine, then let's stop and reverse aging. You can reverse the aging concept.
Yes.
The telomeres, the tips of your DNA.
Precisely.
Shrink ordinarily. We'll go back to that. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes, I wanted to ask about the essential oils that he uses and how long has he used them, and just if he could just talk about them a little bit.
Well, they were all developed exactly 10 years ago, in April 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so they've been used, and we've done the research on them with rejuvenation of each one. The fire raises DHEA, the anti-stress hormone. Air raises oxytocin, the nurturing bonding hormone. Water normalizes aldosterone, the antihypertensive drug, and there's edema or congestion drug problem. Earth raises calcitonin for keep your bones strong and helps pain. And of course, crystal reduces free radicals a whopping 80%.
But the combination of those in other ways does even more.
Well, fire, earth, and crystal will regrow your telomeres 3.5% every year of life. So you're growing 3.5 years younger every year.
So given that you've got the good lifestyle essentials and you're taking supplements properly and you stress management, Norm, are you still going for 125 or 150? Which one years old?
To me, the minimum should be 125.
Minimum. Okay. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep on. Okay. Got it.
I mean, I believe it is possible to live 150 to 160 years if you do the things we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Healthily, not nursing home style.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for calling. Great question.
Thank you.
And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Yes. I was wondering, how would you treat ringing in the ears?
Ringing in the ears.
Two things. Tinnitus, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two things that will cure it. Fire bliss and air bliss. Now, it may take 3 months of doing it daily.
Those are bliss oils, by the way, just for those who are not familiar. Fire bliss oil and air bliss oil.
And air bliss oil. That combination.
Okay.
I had it myself for over 20 years before I discovered how to cure it. Mm-hmm. And now I've been free of it for 21 years.
Oh, and there is another new way that I discovered to help, at least in some people so far. I haven't done the official study or research yet on that, but I want to. The ozone for the ears.
Oh, yeah.
And that has to, it's an inner office procedure, very safe, very simple. And it's just basically ozone is an O3 gas. It just corrects whatever the abnormalities within the middle ear. And it just literally makes things better. There's many other applications of it too, but those are the two ways. But thank you. That's a wonderful question.
I was also wondering if there's any supplements that would help with ringing in the ears.
Supplements for tinnitus.
Honestly, I have explored that, and although people who claim that it does, I have not found any that I consider effective.
Okay.
The air and fire bliss are infinitely more effective. I'm not opposed to them. I just haven't found one that works.
But it can be a very disturbing condition, especially when there's constant ringing in the ears and you're trying to focus and concentrate.
Or go to sleep.
Or go to sleep, yeah.
Yeah, I've had it for many, many years.
Well, it's definitely worth doing the oils and see what happens. It does take a little time.
Okay, I do have the oil, so I will try that.
Yes, but you got to stay consistent with that for a period, daily. And then let us know how that goes.
Yeah, 3 months should hopefully do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for calling. And good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Norm and Sergey. This is Helene from Reno.
Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to share with your audience because questions are coming up about where to place the oils, that when you order the oils, it comes with a card, a really nice card that tells you exactly where to place the oils on the body per oil.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, it's you start from the feet up, and it's a very easy application. If this was a bottle, it's not, but if it's a bottle, you just apply to the point, twirl it a little bit just on the skin. I mean, you don't have to go a huge amount, and that's that. 30 seconds each one, and if you do all 5, that's basically under 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And the cards are self-explanatory. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Helene.
Yeah.
Everything affects everything. Everything you think, say, and do. And of course, we are going to finish in July our current study on rejuvenation of telomeres. And we have a possible other one to begin sometime in the next year.
You know what I like about what we do in the clinic? It's not just practicing medicine; it's always research and science attached.
Well, you're always looking for safe, effective techniques.
And interestingly, the big, the big pharmaco mafia and all those other folks, they spend millions upon millions of dollars.
And they refuse to allow publication of a majority of the negative studies.
Exactly.
They waste the money because they don't want people to know how bad it is.
So you don't hear about bad stuff.
With antidepressant drugs,
yeah,
they forced off the market, off the publication, 75% of all the negative results. There are 4 major articles in journals that say the pharmaca mafia lied.
Now, what about the hypertensive drugs and cholesterol drugs and all of those stuff?
Well, probably forced those off the market, off the publication list too. But I wouldn't trust them to tell me the time of day, honestly.
Right, exactly.
So the point is, if you really want to be healthy, you have to take responsibility. You can read, you can ask holistic physicians, and personally, I wouldn't consult a regular physician for any disease I know right now.
For chronic diseases, that is, specifically.
Chronic.
Yes.
So the folks, if you really want to know what's going on, go to our website, realholisticdoc.com, realholisticdoc.com. You get all kinds of information right there. It's a very big website, and you can find the answers to many of your questions. And otherwise, if you can't find it there, then have a consult with us at 417-351-5221.
And it's interesting how you can hear generic advice. Device. I'm thinking of PEMF here. So speaking of PEMF, that by the way is still good until Friday. In case until Friday 12 midnight, another $200 off of the already reduced amount. So that's really at $1,400. It's just a wonderful opportunity. But speaking of other things, so the website is realholisticdoc.com, and there's also a lot of education there. We have a lot of education about just the holistic mind, body, spirit, and so you can go there. You can look around. You can see what's good for you, what's important. But if you really want a consultation, if you really want to find out what specifically you need to do to make your life better, to enhance, to optimize, or to at least get yourself out of a bad place for now, the holistic is the way to start.
And of course, there are some very comprehensive books, like my book on energy medicine. It covers a great deal of the information. It's probably the most comprehensive of the books that I've written on this, although all of our books are affected one way or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So every day is an opportunity for a healthier and longer life. And I think that that's what life is all about. You want to do something to help other people. You want to keep yourself healthy so you can help other people.
And one thing, this is really, really important for me specifically to share. I've realized when I had this near-death, the car accident that I had, it's fortunate that I'm here. It really is. Usually non-survivable. But I just realized that I've always put other people ahead of myself. And that's been a pattern of my life, but I've never, even as a doctor, even as a holistic doctor, I didn't include myself in that category of humans who need help, or who want to take care of.
In my opinion, your first responsibility is to take care of yourself so that you're not a drag on other people.
Exactly. And then you can be of service to others, and that's a big one for me. So I got to take care of me, and then I can help others.
The people who made this bottle, in my opinion, are quite as important as we are.
Cheers.
I wouldn't know how to make this bottle. I would be stumped and frustrated, but they are helping people, and of course, especially when you have to drink it instead of city water.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing is to take care of yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's another problem that I've heard a lot of complaints about, the fact that churches are essentially closed.
Yes.
Most churches are not allowed to have public meetings. That's, part of general insanity, in my opinion.
And fellowship between humans, contact, fellowship, communication is one of the keys to wellness.
Well, the second most important thing for life longevity and income throughout life is a network of friends.
So by isolating, I'm not going to go into that further, but that whole concept of whatever is going on is just completely wrong for the human beings.
Oh, yeah.
Completely wrong.
Absolutely dangerous.
Yeah.
It has lowered the overall health of the community greater than anything that's happened in at least in my lifetime, and as far as I can tell, in history.
But you know what that means? That means that each and every person now has a personal responsibility and accountability to take charge of their own health.
Exactly.
Because the society is not helping. The government is not helping.
Yeah.
Now we are responsible for ourselves, and it's loud and clear. It's always been the case. But I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, a small percentage of our patients come in wearing a mask, and the first thing I tell them is take it off, please.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be healthy and be able to hear them when I'm talking to them. I want to see them. I don't know what they look like when they got a mask on. I can't tell what their emotional reaction is to what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part of the whole nonsense that's going on. And it's almost as bad as the stopping of the gasoline pipeline on the East Coast. Everything affects everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the important thing is take care of yourself. Get up in the morning, exercise, preferably then. If you don't have time to do it later in the day, get up early enough to do your exercise before you do anything else. And now if you've got a time that you can do it later in the day, that's just as fine. But if you don't have the time later, get up early enough to do it. 30 minutes minimum before you start the day. Now, I do 2 hours before I start the day, but I have to get up at 4 o'clock to do that. But that's my pattern. I go to bed earlier and I get up earlier. And I enjoy it. I've done it all my life. And I still am able to do things that I could do when I was 12 years old.
Your energy is amazing.
Well, it should be normal, in my opinion, and it can be normal if you take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So autogenic training, adequate supplements, and happiness. Happiness is an inside job. You can't make me happy. You can't make me unhappy. I am responsible for my happiness, and you are responsible for your happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And that is part of the holistic concept as well. Every thought is a prayer. Thinking sets in motion spiritual forces. You control your soul, your connection with God and the divine. And until next week, you all have a good one.
We're still on live.
And we're still on live for Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So, any other new or extra comments since we had that last communication?
Yes, if you have any other questions, we can take those now.
There was a follow-up to the question about TIMSIS.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was asking where to put the oils. Is it different from the normal?
These are specific essential oils.
Yeah.
In other words, fire is different from air, etc. So they have to be those blends, and they come with photographs that show you where to put them.
Okay.
You just have to touch the points.
To treat TIMSIS specifically, you don't put them anywhere different than.
No, same location as the oil is indicating.
Each one is different.
That's so you apply the proper fire and the proper air, and then that's hopefully will help.
Okay, and somebody was asking about chemtrails.
Chemtrails can be useful.
Oh no, chemtrails like the sky chemtrails.
That's a very specialized thing. Personally, I think exosomes can do just as good a job frequently.
Oh no, I think the question was more related to the environmental poison called the chemtrails. In other words, that's
chemtrails. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I heard stem cells.
Stem cells. I love stem cells. I mean, that's part of my recovery.
They're part of the government's stupidity.
But it's a part of life. But again, that's why we talk about wellness. That's why we talk about supplements. That's why we talk about being prepared and being ready in this world where a lot of things go wrong. Anyway, anything from water. Speaking of, Dr. Shealy is drinking water right now, but most water is poisoned.
Oh, yeah.
Most food is poisoned. Most everything you see
80% of the food sold in this country is junk.
But you know what's even bigger poison? Media.
Oh, yeah.
That's mind poison. I mean, that's misinformation. Yeah,
sucks.
And if you want to talk about if you want to gain stress, if you want to be more stressed and more anxious and more sick, then please, by all means, engage in
watch the news,
or conventional sources.
Any others?
Yeah, one of our listeners was asking about chronic dry eye.
Chronic dry eye. Chronic dry eyes.
Personally, that suggests the possibility of early Sjogren's syndrome.
Could be.
And so I would want to be checked for an autoimmune disease called Sjogren's syndrome, but I would meanwhile try 1 drop of castor oil once or twice a day in the eye. It has to be United States Pharmacopoeia fat castor oil, but it's very safe.
But that's also part of the autonomic stability or instability too, because between the sympathetic, parasympathetic, I mean, the eyes could be affected as well. So there's a term dysautonomia. Dysautonomia means dysregulated sympathetic fight or flight versus parasympathetic relaxation response. But there's so many
reaction to stress.
So many. But the eyes can be kind of tricky because it can be a number of eye conditions. It could be a neurological condition. It can be so many things. It can be an autoimmune condition. That's where, again, a comprehensive, proper evaluation, personalized, if it becomes enough of a concern, is valuable.
I think that's all for today.
Okay, until next week, y'all have a good one.
Yeah, precisely. And next radio show topic, what do you think? Shall we do a cholesterol?
Cholesterol, yes. The great one.
Great one.
That one.
What to do,